we're familiar a little bit with your work, and you're pretty young to be a singer-songwriter. So if you could kind of give us a little background on how this all became so interesting to you.
Right, of course. So I'm actually 16 years old. I just turned 16, and I've been writing music since I was in middle school. Probably when I was 13 years old, I wrote my first song. But I've played piano since I was 3 years old, actually, and I began piano lessons when I was younger through Holly Baker in Maslin, and I have to give a shout out to her because honestly, without her, I wouldn't be where I am today. She taught me everything I know about piano theory and scales, and from there, middle school isn't easy for a lot of us,
Right.
and I definitely struggled with anxiety and peer pressure and things like that, and at that time, I knew that I had a love for piano and for music, and I started writing my feelings out on paper, and I made poems. And then I decided that I wanted to incorporate my music into those poems, and before I had known it, I had written my first song, Typical Girl.
Very good. I was going to ask you, is there a process with you? It sounded like the lyrics came first, but is that always the case now?
Typically, yes. I do write all my lyrics first just because I believe in that songs should be very heartfelt, have a lot of emotion and story behind them. So usually it's easier for me to gather my thoughts either on paper or now I do it more electronically, but I always do my lyrics first. And then from there, I'll take it, sit down at the keyboard, and find a melody that works.
So is there a day coming that you might just bang out a great tune and sing na 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 and go from there?
I don't know, maybe. I don't know if I've gotten that good yet. But it does sometimes take a little bit of time to figure out what melody you want to go with your songs because I'm standing in the shower and I'll think of some sort of melody that I want to incorporate into one of my songs, but incorporating what's in your head to what's on the piano keys or on the bongo drums, because I've recently started experimenting with bongo drums, which is a whole other world in itself. But it's not always easy to incorporate what you want to happen to what can actually fit with the music and theory.
Yeah, I get that. So you've evolved to this point now. You made a music video too. Tell me a little bit about that process, if you can.
Yes, that was absolutely so much fun. The music video was produced by Mikey Rogers, and he is an excellent videographer. And basically what happened is I was talking to him after I had performed with Eric Brook, my mentor, after one of the gigs. And he was like, I really love that song, and I have this great picture of a music video that we could do if you'd like to do that. And I was like, yeah, sure, let's talk about it. So we met up at Books A Million and just kind of laid out a plan of how we wanted to do that. And before I knew it, I was asking a bunch of my friends to be a part of a massive production. And we got to incorporate places like Dover High School in it, as well as my house and areas where I write my own music. And it was better than I could have ever asked for, and being able to have the music video for my very first song, Typical Girl, is a dream come true. So the music video is currently out on YouTube, and if you search Typical Girl music video by Kami Huff, you can find it.
All right. And your friends, I'm sure, weren't excited at all to be in this, right?
Oh, they were absolutely, they were over the moon. Mikey was like, okay, I need you to get a bunch of teenage kids to be in it. And I was like, oh, I won't have any problem doing that.
Yeah.
But we made it into a whole spectacle. We had T-shirts made for the cast members, and it was absolutely so much fun. So if you were in the music video, I appreciate you.
Me caught up in this moment, but you don't even notice. Got your eyes stuck on her, just a typical girl.
You mentioned Eric Brook. He's a locally known artist and so forth. How did you get associated with him?
Of course, yes. So Eric has been one of the most wonderful blessings in my life. I actually met him at a restaurant one time, and I really enjoyed his music. My family and I were just sitting there tapping our feet along to the beat, just loved his music, and we went up to talk to him after his gig was over, and I just kind of told him, I was like, I'm a singer-songwriter, and I really admire what you do and the music that you create out in the public. And we surprised him the next night by showing up at his second gig that he had that weekend, because he had told my dad about it. And when he saw me there, he was so thrilled, and he was talking about me. It was so great because at the gig, he was actually talking about how he had met this girl that was a singer-songwriter, and he was saying that to the crowd. And then I just showed up, and I was like, "Hi!" And it was so great to see the crowd's faces and to see Eric's faces. But he allowed me to sing with him that night at his gig, and I debuted Typical Girl for the very first time. And ever since then, he's been a mentor and friend to me and helped me along my path.
Sounds like it was meant to be.
For sure.
She's just a typical girl that'll make you
What about your library? How many songs does that incorporate now, approximately?
Well, as of right now, I only have about 6 or 7 songs out on musical platforms, but I have over 20 songs in my repertoire that I've written. It's just the process to get them all recorded and out is very long, and of course, definitely worth it to hear the masterpiece that it turns into, but, as a high school kid, it's not always easy to have all of the time in the world to record all of them.
People want math and English and all kinds of things, right?
Oh, yes, for sure, but...
What, and you're involved in music education as well, continuing that. What's the goal? What do you see yourself doing when you're 18, 19?
For right now, I just want to see where my music takes me and honestly the path that God wants me to go on because I'm trusting Him in all that I do. I plan to create music in one way or another for the rest of my life, but I am also interested in going to school and going into the medical profession. So I want to touch people both ways with both skills, both personally in the medical profession and also with my music, and just shine a light.
That sounds so great. And your family's supportive of this, I guess?
Oh, yes, of course. I was introduced to the medical professions by my dad, of course, Dr. Kevin Huff, the dentist in Dover, and then my mom, Stacy Huff, who is a well-known pediatric nurse practitioner. And they've been beyond supportive with my music and my songwriting. And at this point, I just want to see where the music world takes me. But at the same time, I also have other goals in life, too. So I guess we just watch and see what happens.
Well, I guess, I know we hope that you meet all of those. One more question, I guess. What genre would you call your music?
I'm primarily a pop artist, but I have been told that certain aspects of my songs have a little bit of a country beat in them. And I also, in several of my songs, incorporate a Christian message.
That's fantastic. So, hey, keep putting out good songs, will you?
Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Thanks for being on today, and we appreciate you. Kami Huff, a sophomore at Dover, who is a singer-songwriter right here at home, our guest on the 8:30 High Beam here on the BT Morning Show.
I'm not a typical girl, not a
Remember your favorite song? So do we.
Hey,